Have you ever felt that your energy, your drive, or your vitality just aren't the same, even though you haven't changed anything in your daily routine? Many men look for answers in supplements, miracle diets, or even expensive treatments, without realizing that the root of that quiet fatigue can be something as everyday as water. It's not about the type of water you drink, but about how and when you drink it. This gesture, so simple and seemingly insignificant, can determine the level of oxygen in your tissues, the quality of your circulation, and, consequently, your physical and sexual performance. Every cell in your body needs water to function, and without it, hormonal, nervous, and vascular processes start to slow down. But what's most surprising is that this mistake often goes unnoticed. The modern man, busy, stressed, and constantly in front of screens, often confuses quenching thirst with proper hydration, and that small oversight ends up silently affecting his vitality. Imagine your body as an irrigation system. If the water flow is steady and balanced, everything thrives: your muscles, your mind, your desire. But if water is scarce or administered incorrectly, the ground dries out, energy fades, and the body begins to fail. What I want to show you today is not a magical promise, but a physiological truth. Your vitality largely depends on how you treat your body from the most basic level. And it all starts with a simple glass of water, taken with awareness and understanding. We live in a time when men care about their health, yet paradoxically neglect one of the simplest and most essential pillars: hydration. Silent dehydration is more common than people think and affects millions of men without them even realizing it. It's not about feeling extremely thirsty, but about a constant, mild lack of water that accumulates effects in the body day after day. Many men over 50, and even younger men working under stress, live chronically dehydrated. Their bodies have adapted to function in a scarcity mode, as if drought were normal. The problem starts with small daily habits. Skipping the first glass of water in the morning, replacing it with coffee or energy drinks, going hours without drinking while working or driving, and then trying to make up for it with large amounts of liquid all at once. All of this creates an internal imbalance. Cells receive less water than they need, blood thickens, and tissues lose elasticity. When this happens, the heart works harder to pump blood, and the flow to the most delicate areas of the body, such as the pelvic region, is significantly reduced. Moreover, the modern man is exposed to factors that worsen the situation. Air conditioning, work stress, lack of sleep, and excessive consumption of coffee or alcohol increase water loss without being noticed. That's why even if a man doesn't feel thirsty, his body may be loudly demanding hydration. This lack not only shows up in the skin or fatigue, but also in sexual energy, concentration, and mood. Understanding silent dehydration means understanding that health is not measured only by what you eat or how you exercise, but also by how each cell is nourished with adequate water. Ignoring this is like building a house on dry foundations. Sooner or later, cracks appear. And those cracks, in the case of men's health, can show up as weaker circulation, lower hormone production, and a gradual loss of vitality. When your body doesn't receive enough water, a series of internal reactions start affecting every vital system, from the brain to the circulatory system. Water is the medium in which almost all biological functions occur. Every organ depends on it to transport nutrients, eliminate waste, and maintain the electrical balance of cells. When there is a shortage, the body enters a silent survival mode, trying to conserve the remaining water at the cost of reducing overall performance. Blood becomes thicker, forcing the heart to work harder, and blood vessels constrict, reducing flow to the extremities and especially to sexual organs. Lack of water also disrupts energy metabolism. The production of adenosine triphosphate, the molecule that stores and distributes energy within cells, becomes less efficient. This translates into fatigue, lack of concentration, and decreased sexual desire. The brain interprets this shortage as a signal of tiredness and, instead of stimulating libido, activates energy-saving mechanisms. In older men, this process can be even more pronounced because the body's ability to retain water decreases with age, and hormones responsible for regulating water balance, like vasopressin, lose effectiveness. On a hormonal level, mild but constant dehydration can affect testosterone production. Medical studies have shown that a well-hydrated body supports hormone transport through the bloodstream and improves the function of endocrine glands. In contrast, lack of water can reduce testosterone release and decrease the responsiveness of erectile tissue. It's no coincidence that many men who experience sexual fatigue also show signs of chronic dehydration without knowing it. The nervous system also suffers the consequences. Communication between neurons depends on electrical impulses that require minerals dissolved in water, called electrolytes. Without sufficient hydration, these impulses slow down, affecting coordination, memory, and sensory response. All of this creates a vicious cycle in which the body feels slower, less responsive, and less motivated. It's a silent, progressive process, but completely reversible when one learns to hydrate properly and consciously. Specialists agree that the most important time to hydrate the body is right upon waking. After several hours of sleep, the body has been operating without a single drop of liquid, which causes the blood to thicken and circulation to slow down. During the night, the body uses water to repair tissues, regulate temperature, and eliminate waste through breathing and sweating. That's why when you open your eyes, you're in a mild state of dehydration, even if you don't feel it. Starting the day without replenishing that loss is like starting an engine without oil, forcing every system from the very first minute. Before continuing, I'd love to know something to connect with our community. Which city or country are you watching from? Write it in the comments. I enjoy getting to know people who really care about their health, and it helps me create content that's more useful and relevant to you and your region. Let's get to the point. Experts explain that in the early hours of the morning, the heart and kidneys work at a more sensitive pace. If they don't receive the right amount of water, blood flow decreases and blood pressure can fluctuate. This not only affects energy and mental clarity, but also sexual function, since the vessels in the pelvic area need a constant blood flow to maintain elasticity and responsiveness. Drinking water upon waking restores that balance, improves oxygenation, and prepares the body for a day of higher vitality. Morning water acts like an internal alarm clock. Within minutes, it reactivates digestion, stimulates the kidneys, and improves brain circulation. It is a simple habit, yet it has a powerful impact, especially for men who want to maintain their physical and sexual performance at optimal levels. Urologists consider it a preventive tool, a way to protect vascular function without relying on medications. In clinical practice, many doctors have observed that patients who start the day with a glass of natural or warm water experience improvements in their energy, digestion, and mood. This is not a symbolic gesture, but a physiologically effective measure. When the body receives water at the right moment, all systems work in harmony. That's why experts constantly repeat it before coffee, before breakfast, even before checking your phone. The first thing your body needs is water. This simple gesture can make the difference between a heavy, sluggish day and one full of vitality. Drinking water upon waking is much more than a healthy habit. It is a true physiological ritual that activates the entire body from its core. When water enters the digestive system in the morning, it triggers a series of reactions that cleanse, stimulate, and revitalize. Some doctors call this an internal shower because it works in the same way as water on the skin, but at the cellular level. By hydrating consciously, the body begins to eliminate toxins accumulated overnight through the liver and kidneys, awakening the filtration and purification systems that allow blood to circulate cleaner and lighter. This practice also has a direct effect on digestion and metabolism. A glass of warm water stimulates the stomach, prepares the intestines to receive food, and improves nutrient absorption. In this way, you not only hydrate your cells, but you also prepare your body for a day in which every organ functions more efficiently. Many men who adopt this habit notice, within a few days, a sense of mental clarity, better breathing, and an increase in physical energy, as if the body is responding gratefully to receiving the care it needs from the very first moment of the day. The term internal shower also symbolizes an act of renewal. After hours of rest, tissues need a boost to reactivate circulation. Water fulfills this role with natural precision. It awakens blood vessels, promotes capillary dilation, and supports oxygenation of muscles, including those involved in sexual function. It is a simple way to stimulate the body without relying on anything artificial, simply allowing water to perform the role it was designed for within the organism. Drinking water upon waking should not be seen as an obligation, but as a gesture of respect toward oneself. Instead of rushing straight to coffee or checking your phone, dedicating a few seconds to drink calmly allows the mind and body to synchronize. This moment of conscious pause creates a connection between the physical and emotional, reminding us that well-being does not depend on grand actions, but on small, consistent habits. In the end, this internal shower not only cleanses the body, but also the mind, preparing the ground for a balanced, vital, and fulfilling day. Drinking water may seem like a simple action, but in reality, most people do it incorrectly without realizing it. One of the most common mistakes is waiting until you feel thirsty. Thirst is not a preventive signal. It is a warning that a level of dehydration already exists in the body. When this happens, cells are already functioning less efficiently, blood flow becomes thicker, and energy noticeably decreases. The male body, which relies on a constant water balance to maintain muscle strength, concentration, and sexual function, should not reach this alarm point. That's why water should not be consumed only when the need is felt, but as a conscious act that follows the natural rhythm of the day. Another common mistake is drinking large amounts of water all at once. Many people believe that hydration means filling the stomach quickly with water, when in reality, the body can only absorb a limited amount at a time. Drinking too much too fast can overload the kidneys and dilute essential electrolytes, creating the opposite effect of what is intended. Moreover, this habit disrupts digestion and can cause bloating or a feeling of heaviness. Ideally, the body should absorb water gradually, just as a plant absorbs moisture from the soil, without forcing its natural balance. The temperature of the water also plays a fundamental role and is another frequent mistake. Many people consume water that is too cold, especially in hot weather or after exercising, believing that it will refresh them faster. However, very cold water causes blood vessels to contract, slows digestion, and can stress the nervous system. The body needs water at a temperature close to its own to fully benefit from it, as only then can it be efficiently integrated into internal processes. Another common error is drinking large amounts of water with meals. Although it may seem harmless, this practice dilutes gastric juices and makes digestion, especially of proteins and fats, more difficult. The recommendation is to drink before or after eating, leaving at least 20 minutes to allow the stomach to maintain its natural balance. Respecting this timing helps the body digest more easily and improves nutrient absorption, directly influencing vitality and physical performance. Some people also forget to hydrate during the most important hours of the day, such as the morning and mid-afternoon, when the body is most active. Instead, they tend to drink large amounts at night, which interrupts rest due to the need to urinate and disrupts hormonal sleep rhythms. Learning to distribute water evenly throughout the day is one of the simplest yet most powerful keys to maintaining consistent energy. Finally, many men underestimate the type of water they consume. Not all water is the same, and its purity directly affects well-being. Drinking water with excess chlorine or heavy metals can impact gut flora and kidney function, while filtered or mineral water provides micronutrients that support cellular health. Understanding this means realizing that hydration is not just filling a glass, but nourishing every cell with quality and awareness. Finding the right way to drink water is not about following a rigid rule, but about understanding how your body works and learning to listen to its signals. The ideal amount of water a man needs is not exactly the same for everyone, as it depends on body weight, age, climate, physical activity level, and even diet. However, a useful general reference is to consume between 2 and 3 liters of water per day, spread evenly from the moment you wake up until late afternoon. Drinking slowly in small sips allows the body to absorb the liquid more naturally and continuously, maintaining a steady flow of hydration throughout the day. The rhythm at which you drink water is almost as important as the amount. Many men make the mistake of going hours without drinking and then trying to compensate by consuming large volumes all at once. This practice, besides being inefficient, puts stress on the kidneys and causes much of the water to be eliminated before it can be properly absorbed. The human body is designed to receive hydration gradually, like a steady stream that nourishes every cell. Drinking a glass of water every 2 or 3 hours keeps tissues lubricated, helps regulate body temperature, and improves circulation, something essential for physical well-being and also for sexual performance. The temperature of the water, although often overlooked, also directly influences how the body uses it. Cold water can feel refreshing, but when consumed frequently and in excess, it forces the body to expend extra energy to balance internal temperature. In contrast, lukewarm or slightly warm water is better accepted by the digestive system and supports nutrient absorption, especially when consumed on an empty stomach or in the morning. Many health experts even recommend starting the day with a glass of room temperature or slightly warm water, as it acts as a signal to wake up the internal organs and activate metabolism. Drinking consciously also means paying attention to context. Hydrating during a meal is not the same as after exercise or coming out of a hot shower. In each situation, the body has different needs. After a workout, for example, you lose not only water but also essential minerals, which must be replaced with a proper combination of fluids and electrolytes. During meals, however, it is better to take only small sips to avoid interfering with digestion. Learning to identify these moments and respond with the right type of water and the appropriate amount can make a noticeable difference in daily energy levels. Another important aspect is the quality of the water. Whenever possible, filtered or natural mineral water should be preferred, free of contaminants and with a healthy balance of minerals. Not all bottled water is the same, and many lack adequate mineral content or have undergone processes that alter their natural structure. Investing in a high-quality filter or choosing reliable water sources is a way to care not only for hydration, but also for long-term health. The right combination of quantity, temperature, and rhythm turns the simple act of drinking water into a conscious self-care practice. When a stable habit is established, the body responds with more energy, firmer skin, and better overall function. Even the mind becomes clearer, concentration increases, and mood improves. Maintaining this balance is a silent but powerful way to preserve male vitality and prevent many issues that are mistakenly attributed to aging. Water does more than hydrate, it nourishes. Each sip contains essential elements that determine energy levels, mental clarity, and the male body's ability to respond with strength and balance. These elements are minerals, small invisible particles that regulate vital functions and allow each organ to work precisely. When water lacks these minerals, the body hydrates incompletely, like trying to start an engine without enough fuel. When minerals are present in the right proportion, each cell receives what it needs to maintain electrical balance, internal communication, and the ability to regenerate. Minerals act as messengers that facilitate chemical reactions in the body. They help transport nutrients, maintain stable blood pressure, and balance fluids inside and outside the cells. In men, their role is even more important because they directly influence hormone production and muscle function, including the blood vessels responsible for erections. That is why mineral-rich hydration not only improves physical energy, but also sexual vitality. Many older men experiencing fatigue or reduced desire do not realize that part of the problem may lie in a lack of essential minerals in their diet and the water they drink daily. Among the most important minerals are magnesium, sodium, potassium, calcium, and zinc. Magnesium is known for its ability to relax muscles and support circulation, contributing both to physical performance and restful sleep. Potassium maintains nerve communication and water balance within cells, preventing cramps and improving muscle recovery after exertion. Sodium, although often associated with health problems, is essential in proper amounts for fluid balance and nerve transmission. Without it, the body's electrical energy drops and feelings of weakness become constant. Calcium and zinc complete this vital set. Calcium not only strengthens bones, but also participates in muscle contraction and hormone release. Zinc is a key mineral for testosterone production and maintaining healthy sexual function. Its deficiency can result in fatigue, reduced desire, or even lower semen volume. Maintaining adequate levels of zinc and magnesium, in particular, is considered a natural way to support male potency without medication. A practical way to ensure good mineral intake is to choose natural mineral water or add a pinch of unrefined sea salt to filtered water. This simple action can restore the body's electrolyte balance, especially for men who sweat a lot, exercise, or live in hot climates. It is also recommended to include mineral-rich foods such as nuts, seeds, leafy greens, or tropical fruits like bananas. In this way, hydration stops being a mechanical act and becomes a comprehensive health strategy. Ultimately, the secret to good male hydration lies in the quality of water and its mineral richness. Drinking a lot is not enough. You need to drink well. Each glass of water containing the right minerals is a boost for the heart, muscles, brain, and intimate life. It is a natural and powerful way to reconnect with vital energy, the kind that defines a man at his full potential and that is often lost due to neglect or ignorance. The balance between sodium, magnesium, and potassium is one of the least known yet most decisive keys to male sexual and energy health. These three minerals work together like an internal electrical system that allows cells to communicate, muscles to contract, and blood to flow strongly to where the body needs it. A natural erection depends not only on hormones or desire, but also on the body's ability to maintain this constant bioelectric current. When one of these minerals is missing or in excess, the entire circuit is disrupted, affecting not only sexual performance, but also mood, concentration, and overall vitality. Sodium, although often considered an enemy due to its association with high blood pressure, plays an essential role. It allows the body to maintain proper blood volume and ensures that nerve signals reach the muscles correctly. In balanced amounts, it supports muscle contraction and the transmission of electrical impulses involved in arousal. However, when sodium is consumed excessively, the body retains fluid and blood vessels constrict, making circulation to sensitive areas, including the pelvic region, more difficult. That is why the key is not to eliminate it, but to regulate it, preferably through natural sources like unrefined sea salt or mineral water with low sodium content. Magnesium, on the other hand, is the mineral of calm. Its role in muscle relaxation and stress reduction makes it an indispensable ally for erections and sexual energy. A body with adequate magnesium levels responds better to stimuli and maintains smoother circulation. This mineral also participates in over 300 enzymatic reactions, many related to energy production and sex hormone regulation. When magnesium is lacking, symptoms such as fatigue, irritability, difficulty sleeping, and reduced desire appear. It is common for middle-aged or older men to have mild magnesium deficiencies without realizing it, and this can directly affect their intimate performance. Potassium completes this vital triangle. It is responsible for maintaining the balance of fluids inside and outside cells and regulating muscle contraction, especially in the heart. Adequate potassium levels improve blood pressure and support constant, efficient circulation, which is essential for healthy erectile function. It also helps counteract the effects of sodium, reducing fluid retention and assisting kidney function. When potassium is insufficient, energy drops, muscles feel tighter, and physical responsiveness during arousal slows down. These three minerals, when in harmony, function like an internal orchestra. Sodium sets the rhythm, potassium balances the tones, and magnesium provides the calm that allows everything to flow. A man who maintains this balance not only experiences stronger sexual performance, but also a constant sense of emotional stability and vital energy. That is why paying attention to diet and the quality of water consumed is a direct investment in male health. Incorporating natural foods such as avocados, nuts, legumes, and green vegetables, along with conscious hydration, can make a profound difference in physical and sexual well-being. Ultimately, the secret is not in seeking quick fixes, but in understanding that vitality comes from balance. Sodium, Magnesium and potassium are three pieces of the same system that sustain male energy. Taking care of them is taking care of the heart, mind, and sexuality simultaneously. The relationship between hydration and sexual potency has a solid scientific basis that often goes unnoticed. When a man is well hydrated, his blood flows more easily, and cells receive the oxygen and nutrients they need to function properly. The penis, like any other organ, depends on good blood flow to achieve and maintain a firm erection. This is due to a biological process called vasodilation, where blood vessels expand to allow more blood to pass through. This expansion is largely regulated by a molecule called nitric oxide, whose production decreases drastically when the body lacks sufficient water. Without an adequate amount of this compound, erectile response weakens, is delayed, or is interrupted. Water, therefore, not only quenches thirst, but also acts as a vehicle that transports the components needed for this process to occur naturally. Studies conducted at renowned universities, such as Harvard and Stanford, have shown that even mild dehydration can reduce blood flow to the penis by more than 20%. While this figure may seem small, it is enough to notice a significant difference in rigidity and duration of an erection. In addition, dehydration increases blood viscosity, forcing the heart to work harder to pump it, which causes fatigue and reduces both physical and sexual performance. But science does not stop there. Research has found that proper hydration also improves testosterone production, the hormone responsible for sexual desire, muscle mass, and male vital energy. When the body is dehydrated, the endocrine system interprets this as a stress state, raising cortisol levels, a hormone that blocks testosterone production. That is why many men experience low desire or energy without realizing that the problem may be something as basic as a lack of water. Maintaining consistent hydration allows the body to keep a healthy hormonal balance, reducing the impact of stress and supporting a better sexual response. At the cellular level, hydration directly affects the body's ability to generate energy. Every cell needs water to carry out metabolic processes, such as ATP synthesis, which is the body's immediate energy source. Without enough water, these reactions slow down, causing fatigue, lack of focus, and decreased sexual drive. Water also facilitates the elimination of toxins through the liver and kidneys, preventing the accumulation of substances that could alter hormone function or damage blood vessels. In other words, a well-hydrated body not only performs better physically, but also stays cleaner and more efficient internally. Experts in male health agree that proper hydration is one of the simplest and most effective ways to prevent mild or moderate erectile dysfunction. It does not replace medical treatments in severe cases, but enhances the results of any therapy by improving circulation and overall metabolism. In fact, many urologists recommend incorporating conscious hydration habits as part of comprehensive sexual wellness care. Drinking water at regular intervals, preferably at room temperature, can become as powerful a tool as any supplement or medication, as long as it is done consistently and with knowledge. Finally, science has shown that hydration has a direct effect on the mind. When the brain receives enough water, concentration, mood, and memory improve. This translates into greater confidence, reduced anxiety, and better performance in all areas of life, including intimacy. Sexual potency, then, is not only a physical issue, but also a mental and emotional one. And in that balance between body and mind, water acts as the invisible thread that connects all the systems of the body. Taking care of hydration is, ultimately, taking care of the very foundation of male vitality. Breathing is one of the most powerful yet underestimated mechanisms of the human body. Conscious breathing not only oxygenates tissues, but also has a direct effect on the quality of erections, sexual energy, and the ability to stay calm during intimacy. Many men breathe superficially, quickly, and irregularly, especially in moments of tension or anxiety. This way of breathing limits the amount of oxygen-reaching cells, which affects blood flow and reduces overall vitality. In contrast, deep and rhythmic breathing acts like a key that opens the body from within, improving circulation and calming the mind. Practicing conscious breathing means learning to inhale slowly and deeply, filling the lungs from the abdomen and not just the chest. When air enters fully, the diaphragm descends and massages the internal organs, stimulating circulation and helping eliminate toxins. In addition, the blood becomes enriched with fresh oxygen, which boosts energy production and improves muscle tone, including the pelvic muscles that play a key role in erection and ejaculatory control. Proper breathing supports the relaxation of the parasympathetic nervous system, responsible for pleasure, rest, and digestion, creating the perfect environment for full sexual performance. Several studies have shown that deep breathing techniques can reduce cortisol levels, the stress hormone, and increase the production of nitric oxide, the same molecule that facilitates the vasodilation necessary for a firm erection. In this sense, conscious breathing becomes a tool as effective as any supplement or physical therapy. When the body is well oxygenated, the mind becomes clearer, thoughts are organized, and concentration improves. This state of mental balance is essential to connect with one's own body and with a partner without distractions or insecurities. During intimacy, many men make the mistake of holding their breath in moments of arousal or tension, believing this helps them control the situation better. However, this habit has the opposite effect. It reduces blood flow, accelerates the heart rate, and causes premature fatigue. Learning to maintain smooth and steady breathing during sexual activity not only improves endurance, but also allows one to feel every sensation more intensely. Conscious breathing teaches presence, enjoyment without hurry, and the natural prolongation of pleasure without forcing the body or relying on external factors. Additionally, regular practice of breathing exercises, such as diaphragmatic breathing or pranayama, helps strengthen control over the autonomic nervous system. This system regulates involuntary body functions, such as heart rate or blood pressure, which are essential for sexual performance. Through conscious breathing, a man learns to master his physiological reactions, transforming anxiety into calm and tension into vital energy. This skill, cultivated daily, translates into greater self-confidence and a deeper connection with one's own body. Conscious breathing also has a powerful emotional component. By better oxygenating the brain, emotions are balanced, and the sense of stress or frustration often associated with modern life is reduced. A man who breathes consciously feels calmer, more focused, and more capable of responding calmly to challenges, both inside and outside of intimacy. In this sense, breathing nourishes not only the body, but also the mind and spirit, becoming a silent source of energy and pleasure. Stress is one of the most silent yet devastating enemies of male sexual health. When the body remains in a constant state of tension, it activates defense mechanisms that prioritize survival over pleasure. In other words, the brain interprets rush, anxiety, or worries as danger signals, which automatically reduces sexual desire and the body's responsiveness. In the modern man, constantly juggling work, family, and personal responsibilities, this activation of the alert system has become almost normal, but its consequences are profound. When stress becomes chronic, the body releases large amounts of cortisol and adrenaline, hormones that prepare the body to react to danger. While small doses can be useful, prolonged elevation directly interferes with testosterone production, the essential hormone for energy, vitality, and male sexual function. Low testosterone leads to a progressive loss of desire, difficulties in maintaining firm erections, and a general feeling of physical and mental exhaustion. Additionally, excess cortisol disrupts sleep quality, and without proper rest, the body cannot restore hormonal levels or regenerate tissues effectively. Rushing also plays a critical role. Living fast, eating quickly, sleeping little, and neglecting moments to breathe keeps the sympathetic nervous system, the one responsible for action and tension, hyperactive. This reduces the body's ability to activate the parasympathetic system, which allows relaxation, digestion, cellular repair, and, of course, sexual enjoyment. In this state of constant agitation, the body cannot find the necessary balance to feel desire or maintain adequate performance. The mind stays scattered, and the man loses connection with his own sensations, turning intimacy into a mechanical act rather than a pleasurable experience. Urologists and psychologists specializing in male health agree that emotional stress is one of the most common causes of temporary erectile dysfunction. It is not just a physical problem, but also a psychological one. Excessive concern about performance, fear of failure, or feeling inadequate creates a vicious cycle. The more one thinks about the problem, the more tension arises, and that tension prevents the body from responding naturally. Breaking this cycle requires regaining inner calm, learning to slow down the pace of life, and reconnecting with breathing and presence. A clear example is men who, after a stressful day, attempt intimacy without having relaxed their body or mind. In these cases, the mind remains active, the heart beats quickly, and muscles stay tense. In this context, it is almost impossible for blood flow to reach the sexual organs normally. That is why specialists recommend preparatory relaxation practices, such as warm showers, deep breathing, or stretching exercises, which allow the body to release accumulated tension and reopen to pleasure. Stress affects not only the present, but also the future of male well-being. Over time, it keeps the body in an inflammatory state that can accelerate cellular aging and increase the risk of cardiovascular diseases, high blood pressure, and metabolic disorders, all factors that directly impact erectile function. Learning to manage rush and stress is not a luxury, but a necessity to preserve sexual, emotional, and physical health. Regaining balance does not mean eliminating stress entirely, which is impossible in modern life, but learning to manage it. Small daily habits, such as walking in silence, disconnecting from screens before bed, or practicing deep breathing every morning, can transform a man's relationship with his own body. When stress decreases, circulation improves, the mind clears, and desire naturally returns. Sexuality flows again as an expression of vitality and well-being, not as an obligation or a goal to achieve. Over the years, the male body undergoes profound changes that affect not only external appearance, but also organ function, available energy, and recovery capacity. One of the most determining factors in this process is hydration. As men age, the sensation of thirst decreases, causing them, often without realizing it, to drink less water than necessary. This progressive and silent dehydration weakens tissues, slows metabolism, and promotes fatigue, muscle aches, dry skin, and circulatory problems. All of this translates into a gradual loss of vitality, often mistaken as a simple sign of natural aging, when in reality the body is signaling for hydration. The relationship between water and male aging is much more direct than it seems. Water acts as an internal buffer that protects cells from oxidative damage, lubricates joints, and maintains the elasticity of skin and tissues. When the body lacks sufficient water, cells cannot efficiently eliminate toxins or absorb the nutrients necessary for regeneration. This accelerates internal wear, making the body feel heavier, slowing mental agility, and affecting physical performance, including sexual function. A dehydrated man ages faster because his body operates under scarcity, and that deficit directly impacts his vital energy. Hydration also plays a crucial hormonal role. Testosterone production, which naturally declines with age, is further impaired when the body does not receive adequate water. Blood thickens, circulation slows, and nutrients fail to reach reproductive organs effectively. This combination can contribute to lower libido, slower muscle recovery, and persistent fatigue. Many male health specialists emphasize that one of the pillars for maintaining youth and vigor is to preserve a consistent and conscious hydration balance. Hydration affects not only the body, but also the mind. Lack of water directly impacts concentration, memory, and mood. Older men who do not drink enough water may experience greater irritability, anxiety, or confusion, symptoms often attributed to age, but that could be mitigated with proper fluid intake. A well-hydrated brain functions more clearly, allows faster decision-making, and supports a more positive attitude toward life. Healthy aging is not based solely on genetics, but on daily habits. Consistently drinking water, maintaining a balanced diet, Limiting alcohol intake and following a proper sleep routine are factors that slow the natural deterioration of the body. Even the skin reflects this internal balance. A well-hydrated man shows a firmer face, a more alert gaze, and energy that radiates vitality and confidence. Water, in short, not only prolongs life, but also enhances the quality of each day lived. Experts recommend that older men reconnect with their sense of thirst and establish regular times to drink water, even if they do not feel thirsty. Incorporating this conscious habit can make a notable difference in how the body ages. It is not just about adding years to life, but adding life to the years. Hydration is one of the simplest, most affordable, and powerful tools to maintain internal youth, mental clarity, and the strength that defines a vital, active, and fulfilled man. Over time, the male body loses some of its natural ability to retain water, and this decrease often goes unnoticed until symptoms become evident. Dehydration in older men does not always present as thirst, but takes subtler forms that can be mistaken for other age-related issues. Dry, less elastic skin, chapped lips, or a sticky mouth are early signs that the body needs more fluids. A reduction in urine volume or darker color is also common, indicating that the kidneys are working harder to conserve available water. Beyond these visible physical signs, dehydration directly affects cognitive performance. An older man who does not drink enough water may feel more confused, slightly disoriented, or have difficulty concentrating and remembering details. This mental fog, often attributed to aging, can improve significantly with proper hydration. The brain, largely composed of water, requires a constant flow of fluids to maintain active neural connections and the chemical balance that regulates emotions and mental clarity. A dehydrated mind is therefore slower and less efficient. Another silent but revealing symptom is persistent fatigue. When the body lacks sufficient water, the heart must work harder to pump blood, creating a feeling of exhaustion even without significant physical effort. Joints also suffer as synovial fluid that lubricates them decreases, causing stiffness and discomfort during movement. In older men, these pains may seem like an inevitable part of aging, but in many cases, proper hydration restores flexibility and relief within days. Dehydration can also affect the digestive system. Constipation, slow digestion, or a feeling of heaviness after meals are signs that the body does not have enough water to support intestinal processes. Water helps dissolve nutrients, transport waste, and maintain internal pH balance. When water is lacking, the body enters a conservation mode that slows digestion and disrupts gut flora, causing general discomfort. No less important is the impact on the cardiovascular system. Prolonged dehydration can raise blood pressure because the blood becomes denser and harder to circulate. This represents an additional risk for older men, especially those already suffering from heart problems. Maintaining stable hydration not only improves circulation, but also helps regulate body temperature, reduces dizziness when standing, and promotes restful sleep. Recognizing these warning signs is essential to prevent more serious complications. Sometimes, gradually increasing daily water intake, preferably between meals, is enough to notice improvements in energy, mood, and overall well-being. Urologists and geriatricians agree that many problems affecting quality of life in older age have their root in inadequate hydration. Drinking water consciously is, therefore, a self-care practice that can make the difference between aging with limitations or enjoying a full and active maturity. Although water is indispensable for life and health, it is important to remember that any excess can disrupt the body's natural balance. Drinking water in excessive amounts may seem healthy, but it can actually cause a condition known as hyponatremia, in which sodium levels in the blood become dangerously diluted. This imbalance affects cellular function, especially in the brain, causing dizziness, confusion, headaches, and in extreme cases, fainting or seizures. For this reason, health specialists recommend turning hydration into a conscious and moderate routine that responds to the body's true needs, rather than an obsession. The human body has precise mechanisms to regulate the amount of fluids it requires, and learning to listen to them is key. Thirst, though often ignored or postponed, remains the main indicator that it is time to drink. However, some men, in their attempt to adopt healthier habits, tend to overdo it, consuming large volumes of water in a short time, believing this will flush toxins faster. What they do not realize is that this behavior can impair kidney function and force the body to eliminate essential minerals, weakening the nervous and muscular systems. Excessive hydration can also create unnecessary stress on the kidneys, the organs responsible for filtering waste. When more water is ingested than the body can process, the kidneys must work continuously to expel the excess, which over time can lead to renal fatigue. This prolonged effort is particularly risky for older men or those already suffering from kidney issues. Instead of providing benefits, overhydration can have the opposite effect: fatigue, swelling, and general metabolic imbalance. Water temperature also matters. Some men believe that drinking very cold water in large amounts, especially after exercise, helps cool the body faster, but this practice can cause internal thermal shock and affect digestion. The body needs water to be absorbed gradually under conditions that allow it to maintain thermal balance. Therefore, it is ideal to take small sips at room temperature and distribute intake throughout the day. Hydration balance is not only about how much water is consumed, but also about how it is incorporated. For example, water-rich fruits and vegetables such as cucumber, watermelon, or oranges naturally contribute to the body's hydration levels while providing vitamins and antioxidants. Including these foods in the diet helps maintain more stable and sustainable hydration without overloading the body. It is also important to remember that the ideal amount of water varies depending on age, weight, climate, and physical activity level. There is no magic number that works for everyone, although a general recommendation usually ranges between 1.5 to 2 liters per day. Listening to the body, observing urine color, and paying attention to energy and well-being are more precise indicators than any fixed number. Balance, therefore, is the true key. Drinking consciously, without rushing or overdoing it, is a form of respect for one's body. Each sip should be seen as an act of harmony, not a race to reach an arbitrary goal. In maturity, learning to hydrate intelligently not only protects health, but also preserves vitality and mental clarity. Water, when consumed in moderation and with attention, becomes a silent ally of longevity. Maintaining balanced hydration does not depend on a single moment of the day, but on a series of small habits that, when integrated naturally, support the body's vitality over time. Every daily action can become an opportunity to care for internal balance, and the secret lies in consistency. Drinking water regularly, paying attention to bodily signals, and establishing a routine of conscious consumption are pillars that transform physical and mental well-being for the modern man. One of the most effective habits is to start the day with a glass of room temperature water before any food or stimulating drink. This simple gesture acts as a gentle ignition for the digestive system and stimulates the elimination of toxins accumulated overnight. It is not just about hydrating, but about waking up the internal organs and preparing the body to absorb the day's nutrients. The freshness and clarity gained from this first glass also reflect in a better mood and a more focused mind. During the day, keeping a water bottle nearby helps prevent the gradual dehydration that often goes unnoticed. It is not necessary to force large quantities at once. The ideal approach is to take small sips continuously. In this way, the body receives a constant flow that keeps cells active and tissues lubricated. This habit is especially useful for men who work in front of screens or in air-conditioned environments, as these conditions accelerate fluid loss without being noticed. It is also important to adjust water intake according to physical activity level and environmental temperature. A man who exercises or works outdoors needs to compensate for sweat losses properly. Drinking before, during, and after physical effort helps maintain muscle endurance and prevents cramps or fatigue. However, this process must be done intelligently. Sudden overhydration can be just as counterproductive as not drinking enough. The key is to listen to the body and anticipate thirst. Nighttime rest also plays an essential role in maintaining proper hydration. Although many avoid drinking water at night to prevent sleep interruptions, a small glass before bed and another upon waking can make a difference. This habit supports cellular regeneration and helps maintain balanced circulation during rest hours. The kidneys continue their work while we sleep, and water allows them to function more efficiently without being overloaded. Moreover, hydration is not limited to plain water. Mild infusions, such as green tea or chamomile, provide fluids and beneficial antioxidants. Incorporating water-rich fruits like watermelon, melon, or oranges also complements daily hydration. These foods not only hydrate, but also provide vitamins and minerals that strengthen the immune system and improve skin appearance. Every choice counts, and small conscious actions repeated consistently create real change. Finally, maintaining optimal hydration involves creating a constant connection with one's body. Learning to recognize when water is needed and when thirst is confused with hunger is a form of self-awareness. Daily discipline is not built through effort, but through understanding that hydration is energy in motion. Each sip is a silent reminder that caring for oneself is an act of respect, and consistency in these habits can profoundly transform men's health and vitality. Hydration does not depend solely on the water we drink, but also on the foods and beverages we choose each day. The relationship between nutrition and hydration is much deeper than most people realize, as certain foods help maintain adequate fluid levels in the body, while others promote fluid loss. Understanding this dynamic is essential for maintaining internal balance, especially in adult men, whose fast-paced lifestyle and irregular diet often disrupt the delicate system of bodily hydration. Fresh fruits and vegetables are a silent but powerful source of biological water, a type of water that the body absorbs more easily. Foods such as cucumber, watermelon, orange, apple, and lettuce contain a high proportion of structured water, accompanied by vitamins and minerals that enhance absorption. Eating these foods daily, especially during hot periods or after exercise, helps maintain hydration without relying solely on liquids. Additionally, they provide fiber, which regulates digestion and helps retain natural moisture in the digestive system. Light soups, vegetable broths, and natural infusions also play an important role. Consumed with meals or between them, they act as discreet allies for fluid balance. They not only replenish liquids, but also provide an extra supply of electrolytes that support kidney function. The key is to avoid excessive salt, as too much sodium can cause water retention and imbalances. On the other hand, a moderate diet rich in fresh vegetables helps maintain healthy blood pressure and energy levels. Conversely, certain beverages and foods silently sabotage hydration. Alcoholic drinks, for example, are diuretics and promote rapid fluid elimination, creating a deceptive sense of satiety. Coffee and caffeinated beverages, although stimulating in small amounts, can impair kidney function and lead to the loss of essential minerals when consumed excessively. Refined sugar, present in soft drinks and industrial juices, also disrupts fluid balance, as the body requires additional water to metabolize it. A diet too rich in processed foods, cold cuts, or fast food worsens the problem. These foods not only lack natural water, but often contain high amounts of sodium and additives that disturb kidney function. The result is a constant feeling of fatigue, bloating, and mental fog. Changing this pattern does not require great sacrifices, only awareness and consistency. Replacing a soft drink with water with a few drops of lemon, or choosing a fresh fruit instead of an industrial dessert, are small decisions that transform long-term well-being. It is also important to mention that the temperature and context in which foods are consumed affect hydration. On hot days, opting for light, fresh meals helps maintain internal balance. Conversely, during cold periods, warm soups and mild tea support the natural hydration process without placing extra demands on the body. The human body always seeks balance, and nutrition can be its most effective ally if chosen mindfully. Finally, understanding that hydration is not an isolated act, but a symphony in which both water and food participate, allows for a more holistic approach. Every bite and sip influence energy, performance, and mood. Men who learn to observe how their bodies react to certain foods can improve not only their vitality, but also their focus, sleep, and emotional balance. eating and hydrating consciously is not a trend. It is a form of respect for the body, a way to honor it and keep it at its full potential. For too long, self-care has been associated more with female well-being than with male health. However, in recent years, men have begun to recognize that taking care of oneself is not a sign of weakness, but an expression of wisdom and maturity. Male self-care is not limited to physical appearance. It encompasses comprehensive health, body, mind, and energy. A man who learns to listen to himself, attend to his needs, and respect his rhythms becomes stronger, more stable, and vital. This mindset shift represents a silent revolution that transforms both health and quality of life. Caring for the body is not a luxury, but a responsibility. Every daily decision, from the amount of water consumed to the rest taken, influences physical and mental performance. Many men discover that by adopting self-care habits, they not only gain energy, but also regain mental clarity and a renewed sense of balance. Sleeping well, eating mindfully, and staying hydrated are simple yet deeply restorative acts. The human body does not demand perfection, only consistency and attention. Listening to its signals is a way to prevent wear and tear and prolong vitality. Self-care also involves a deeper relationship with emotions. Men are often taught to endure, to avoid showing fatigue or vulnerability, but this attitude accumulates tension and internal disconnection. Practicing self-care means recognizing that emotional well-being is as important as physical well-being. Dedicating time to silence, breathing, or activities that generate pleasure and serenity, such as walking, reading, or spending time in nature, has direct effects on sexual energy, cardiovascular health, and hormonal balance. Caring for the soul is ultimately caring for the body. Another fundamental aspect of male self-care is prevention. Many men visit the doctor only when a problem has already manifested, but true health lies in anticipation. Regular checkups, consulting a urologist or nutritionist, and monitoring hydration, blood pressure, and hormone levels can prevent diseases that, over time, affect vitality and sexual desire. Prevention is a form of respect for oneself and loved ones because it helps maintain autonomy, strength, and fulfillment for more years. Environment also influences self-care. Surrounding oneself with people who value health and balance helps sustain positive habits. Men who support each other in these processes discover that sharing experiences strengthens discipline. Talking about health, emotions, or bodily changes should no longer be a taboo, but a sign of evolution. Self-care, in its deepest sense, is a form of inner leadership, a way to take control of one's life and transform it from within. Caring for oneself does not mean becoming obsessive or rigid. It is about finding a point of harmony between discipline and pleasure, between effort and compassion. A man who cares for himself learns to balance exertion with rest, action with pause. This inner harmony reflects in all aspects of life: daily energy, focus, confidence, and, of course, sexual potency. Self-care is, in essence, an act of self-love, a silent declaration that health, vitality, and serenity are rights to be cultivated every day. Sometimes, numbers and advice do not have the same impact as a lived story. That is why it is valuable to know examples of men who decided to transform their relationship with water, health, and their own bodies. One of them is Javier, a 48-year-old man who worked long hours in front of a computer and felt his energy fading by midday. He suffered from constant headaches, unexplained fatigue, and a gradual decrease in sexual desire. When he visited a urologist, he discovered there was no serious pathology, but there was an underlying problem: chronic dehydration. Javier barely drank water, preferring coffee and sugary drinks. By implementing a simple habit, drinking 2 glasses of water upon waking and keeping a bottle nearby throughout the day, his body began to respond. Within a few weeks, he noticed he slept better, had more mental clarity, and his vitality returned with strength. What seemed like a minor solution turned into a profound change in his well-being. Another case is Luis, a 55-year-old man who had begun to notice stiffness in his joints and a general decrease in energy. He believed it was a natural part of aging, but a nutritionist explained that his diet was excessively salty and that he was not replenishing the essential minerals lost throughout the day. Luis decided to modify his hydration routine by incorporating water with a pinch of sea salt and lemon juice in the mornings. He also started consuming more potassium-rich fruits, such as bananas and avocados. The result was remarkable. In less than a month, his fatigue diminished, his skin looked fresher, and his sexual desire was reactivated. He understood that water was not just a liquid to quench thirst, but a vehicle of energy and balance. There is also the example of Martin, 62 years old, who had gone through a period of significant work and personal stress. His body began showing clear signs of exhaustion, slow digestion, muscle aches, and lack of concentration affecting his work. Martin began a self-care process guided by a holistic doctor who taught him the importance of an internal shower, drinking warm water with minerals on an empty stomach, and combining this habit with conscious breathing. Within 3 months, his energy changed completely. He discovered that proper hydration, along with a calmer attitude and slower breathing, had a direct effect on his physical and mental performance. These testimonies, though fictional, represent real situations that many men experience without recognizing their origin. Lack of water, poor eating habits, and disconnection from personal needs create a cycle of exhaustion that can be reversed with small actions. It is not about miraculous formulas, but about coherence and consistency. Every glass of water, every conscious pause, every decision to take care of oneself in time can make a difference. Men who successfully incorporate these changes discover that energy, vitality, and mental clarity are not privileges of youth, but rewards of commitment to oneself. Transformational stories are not reserved for a few. Any man can choose to start over, regardless of age or past habits. The body has an amazing capacity to recover when given what it needs. In the case of hydration, results are noticeable quickly. The skin revitalizes, circulation improves, the mind clears, and libido naturally resurfaces. These examples show that change begins with a gesture as simple as drinking water mindfully, but that gesture can mark the beginning of a new stage of fullness. Life is made of small, seemingly insignificant decisions that, over time, shape the course of our existence. Drinking water may seem like a simple, almost automatic act, but behind that everyday gesture lies a powerful tool for transformation. Every drop that enters the body not only hydrates cells, but renews energy, cleanses organs, and awakens the senses. It is the clearest reminder that health does not depend on grand sacrifices, but on consistency in the details. When a man decides to care for his hydration, he is not only thinking about quenching thirst, but honoring his body. He is acknowledging that vitality, mental clarity, and emotional balance begin with the most basic element, water. This connection with the purest element of nature carries profound symbolic and physical meaning. It means reconnecting with oneself, with the essence of life, with the part of being that longs to flow, cleanse, and be reborn. Science confirms this, but so does daily experience. Men who incorporate a conscious hydration routine perceive a tangible change in their overall well-being. Their muscles feel more alive, their minds more awake, and their sexual desire more balanced. It is not just about drinking out of habit, but doing it with intention, recognizing that each glass of water is an opportunity to regenerate the body and restore its natural balance. This change, though it may seem minimal, can transform the way you face your days. Mornings cease to be a battle against fatigue and become a gradual awakening, accompanied by clarity and strength. Afternoons are no longer a wall of tiredness, but an extension of vital energy. And nights become a space for true rest where the body fully recovers. It all begins with a gesture as simple as drinking water at the right time and with the right mindset. Ultimately, conscious hydration goes beyond the body. It is a form of self-care, an act of respect toward oneself and toward the life present in every cell. It is recognizing that male well-being does not lie in quick fixes or excesses, but in simple, sustainable habits that restore the body's natural balance. Every drop counts, and every day offers the opportunity to choose yourself. Just as water flows and finds its way even through the hardest rocks, you too can rebuild your energy, recover your vitality, and rediscover your inner power. You do not need to start with drastic changes. Simply fill a glass, take a sip, and feel that freshness travel through your body. That is the final invitation. Drink mindfully, live in balance, and always remember that your energy, health, and power depend on a simple but profound truth. Every drop counts.